Listen, you're probably wondering why you're still tangled up with this narcissist, right? I get it. You've been dealing with manipulation, gaslighting, and endless emotional chaos. But here's the thing you need to understand. They know you know. The game is up. They've been playing their little manipulative games, watching your every move, studying you like a hawk, but they're starting to see the cracks in the armor. And trust me, when a narcissist realizes that the jig is up, that you've figured them out, it's not pretty. These narcissists, they're like predators that thrive on the chase. They feed off your attention, your emotions, and your need for validation. But when you stop biting, when you stop engaging in the way they expect, that's when they panic. That's when they know they've lost control. They can no longer play you. And if you've ever been through it, you know the aftermath, chaos, confusion, and a desperate scramble from them to try and reel you back in. But here's the kicker. It's too late. You're already onto them. So buckle up. I'm going to walk you through the 10 signs that show you're no longer their puppet. And when these happen, you'll know the game is finally over. 1. When you stop arguing with them. Oh, here's the first one. This one's a biggie. When you stop arguing with them, that's when the narcissist starts sweating bullets. Why? Because they live for conflict. They thrive on your reactions. Every time they gaslight, lie, or twist the truth, they're waiting for you to bite back. It feeds their ego. It's their oxygen. But when you stop, when you just refuse to engage, that's like turning off the fire hose they've been drinking from. They panic. They get nervous. Because what's the one thing a narcissist can't handle? Indifference. You're not arguing because, deep down, you're not bothered anymore. You don't care. They could scream and shout, twist the facts, and it won't rattle you. You're just done. I remember hearing an old saying, never argue with an idiot. They'll drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. That's exactly what happens when you engage with a narcissist. You lose. So stop arguing. They'll notice. They'll start wondering why you're not reacting the way you used to. And in their twisted mind, when you stop fighting, they start questioning their grip on you. And that's when they start to panic. They can't control you anymore, and they don't know what to do with themselves. They'll push harder, gaslight more, lie more, but when you refuse to bite, that's when they know, game over. They've lost the power, and they're just too stupid to admit it. 2. When you become cold and distant. All right, now this one hits hard. When you start getting cold, when you start pulling away emotionally, that's when the narcissist feels the heat. You got to understand this. Narcissists feed off of your energy. They need you to react. They need you to be their emotional punching bag. And when you stop, when you start retreating into yourself, it's like a toxic gas leak that's suddenly been sealed off. Nothing left to breathe in. They might not say it out loud, but internally, they're in full-blown panic mode. They notice the change, and it terrifies them. When they see you growing cold, it's like they've hit an iceberg. Everything they've been sailing toward is now sinking. And in their head, they think, what happened? What changed? But they'll never admit that they've lost their grip on you. No, they'll keep pushing buttons, trying to provoke you, trying to get you to react. But when you give them nothing, that silence, that's the death of their control. A narcissist thrives on keeping you engaged, keeping you tied to their drama. But when you step back and start showing them indifference, when you give them the silent treatment, they feel like they're standing in the middle of a storm with no umbrella. They know they're losing. You just left them out in the cold. And trust me, they can't stand it. 3. When you pull away and they ask, do you still love me? Here's the thing you've got to remember. Narcissists are never really worried about you. They're worried about losing control. So when you start pulling away, that's when they hit you with the golden question, do you still love me? It's like a desperate fishing line thrown out into a sea of uncertainty. And they're praying you bite. But why ask that now? Why ask after all the lies, the cheating, the emotional manipulation? It's almost laughable, right? It's a power play. They need validation. They need to know that they haven't lost you. They'll ask you if you still love them, because deep down, they're terrified that they've lost their grip on your emotions. That's their whole game. Keep you hooked, keep you needing them. And when you start pulling away, they need that reassurance. But let's call it what it is. It's a cry for help from a dying ego. They can't admit they're losing you, so they'll try to reel you back in with these desperate questions, trying to manipulate you into thinking you're the problem. This is when they'll go into full-blown love bombing mode, showing you affection, making promises they'll never keep. They're not asking because they care. They're asking because they need to know they still have you under their spell. For when you stop making them a priority, here's a classic move: you stop chasing them. You stop making them the center of your world. And that, my friend, drives a narcissist insane. Narcissists need to be the focus. You can't take your eyes off them. But when you do, when you suddenly shift your focus back to your own life, your own priorities, they go ballistic. Why? Because they were always your first priority. That was part of the game. You were supposed to chase them. You were supposed to drop everything at their beck and call. But when you start making excuses, I'm busy today, I've got things going on, you're sending a powerful message. You're telling them, you're not my priority anymore. And that cuts deep. Narcissists live for attention. They need to know you're constantly thinking about them, constantly running after them. But when you pull away and start doing your own thing, they feel threatened. The power they had over you is slipping. And that's when they'll try to reel you back in. Expect the floodgates of love bombing to open wide, fast and furious, trying to make you feel like you're the one who's wrong for pulling away. But here's the truth. You're not wrong. You're just waking up to the reality that you've been prioritizing someone who is never prioritizing you. And once you start making yourself the priority, you've already won. They just haven't realized they've lost yet. 5. When you don't want to stay on the phone for hours. Let me break this down. Narcissists love to talk, and talk, and talk some more. They'll keep you on the phone for hours, telling you about their life, their drama, their needs, and the endless gaslighting to make you think you're the problem. But when you start realizing that there's a whole world outside their narcissistic echo chamber, and you don't need to be on the phone for hours anymore, that's a huge red flag for them. You're telling them, in the clearest way possible, that their words no longer hold you hostage. They're not the center of a universe anymore. And when you stop giving them all your time and energy, they start losing it. That phone call you used to dread ending, now you can't get off fast enough. And trust me, they notice. When they can't keep you hooked for hours, they feel the power slipping right through their fingers. Panic sets in because they know you're slowly waking up to who they really are. 6. When they accuse you of seeing someone else. This is classic narcissist behavior. You pull back, stop chasing, stop responding the way they're used to. And suddenly, you're the one who must be seeing someone else. Think about it for a second. They've been lying, cheating, gaslighting, but when the tables turn and you stop giving them the constant attention they thrive on, they automatically project onto you. They'll start accusing you of cheating, even though they've been doing it all along. Why? Because they can't fathom that you could lose interest without having someone else. It's their twisted way of trying to keep control by flipping the script and making you the bad guy. This is them projecting their own guilt, insecurity, and fear onto you. It's not about you at all. It's about making sure they still control the narrative. They need to feel like they're the one in charge of the story, no matter how warped the tale gets. 7. When you go silent. Silence is the most powerful weapon you can wield against a narcissist. No words, no arguments, no explanations. Just silence. It drives them crazy. They can't stand it. The moment you stop playing their game, when you refuse to give them the emotional response they crave, they start to lose it. They'll ask, "Why are you so silent? What's going on? Are you playing games?" They don't get it. They've been used to controlling the conversation, pulling the strings, but now Now, you've taken your power back. Silence shows them that you don't need them, and that is a blow to their ego they cannot recover from. Because here's the thing. Narcissists live in a world where they need to feel needed. They need to believe that without them, your life would fall apart. When you go silent, you're sending a message that you can live without them. And that's the ultimate game changer. 8. When you stop being open with them. So, you figure it out. You start holding back, becoming more guarded. Where once you'd share everything, your thoughts, your dreams, your fears, now you keep it all locked up. And it sends a clear signal to the narcissist. I don't trust you anymore. This, my friend, is their nightmare. Why? Because narcissists need control, and they get that control by knowing everything about you. They want to be the one who sees your vulnerability, your weaknesses, and your inner thoughts. It's their way of keeping you under their thumb. But when you start to shut them out, when you stop sharing the things that matter to you, they panic. They can't manipulate what they don't know. It's like a magician who's lost their trick. They've been feeding off your transparency, but now they see the walls going up. And let me tell you, they hate it. You'll notice the pressure mounts. Maybe they'll try to push you into revealing more. Maybe they'll try to guilt trip you, but when you shut down, they realize they're losing their power. And you can be damn sure they're going to try everything they can to get you to open up again. But once you stop trusting them, you got the upper hand. 9. When you begin to make your own life a priority. Here's a truth bomb. When you stop making the narcissist the center of your universe, when you start focusing on your own life, your own needs, that's when they panic. They've been used to being the star of your show. They've been calling the shots, dictating the terms, pulling all the strings. But when you start saying, hey, I've got other things going on, that's when they feel the rug being pulled out from under them. You've probably heard people say, you've got to make yourself a priority. And here's the thing. When you do that, when you stop dropping everything for them, they lose their grip on you. Narcissists hate it. They want to be the first call, the first thought, the first priority. But when you start living for yourself, when you don't pick up their calls, when you make excuses not to meet, when you finally start saying no, that's when they know the jig is up, and it drives them insane. They want to be the center of your world, but when they see you shifting focus to your own life, they can't stand it. They'll come running back with more manipulation, more love bombing, trying to lure you back in. But here's the thing, you're no longer chasing them. You've finally realized that your life, your happiness, your well-being come first. And that's a power move. 10. When they know they're losing you for good. And finally, this is the big one. This is the moment the narcissist knows the game is over. When they've tried everything, manipulation, love bombing, guilt trips, and it's still not working. When they realize that the power they once had over you is gone. That's when they begin to check out. The mask cracks, and they know you're not playing anymore. You see through them. Now, here's the thing. Narcissists will never be the ones to end it. They can't handle the shame of being the one discarded. So what do? They'll push you. They'll do everything they can to make you disgusted with them, so you're the one to walk away. They want you to do the reverse discard. They want you to give up and leave, so they can play the victim. It's sick, but it's their game. But let's be real. When you see through them, when you realize that you deserve better, you're done. No more playing. No more waiting for them to change. You realize the truth. This relationship is a dead end. And when that final realization hits, there's no turning back. You walk away. You stop waiting for the love, the apologies, the promises. You just leave. And when you do, that's when they really panic. Because the mask's off, and they know they can never get you back. So let's break this down. When you stop arguing with them, when you get cold and distant, when you start pulling away, and when you stop chasing their validation, that's when a narcissist knows the game's over. When you stop being open with them, when you start making your life a priority, and when you go silent, they're shitting bricks. And when they can't manipulate you anymore, when they know they're losing you for good, That's when the panic really sets in. They can't stand that kind of power shift. But here's the thing. These are the signals you're sending. You stop being their puppet. And when you start putting yourself first, they can't handle it. They can't control you anymore, and they know it. So, now it's your turn to walk away with your head held high. If this hit home for you, don't just sit there. Smash that subscribe button and drop a comment below. I want to hear your story. Like this video if it helped you break free, and check out more videos on the channel. We got a ton of content to help you reclaim your power. You're not alone in this, and the more you watch, the more you'll see the truth for what it really is.